All right, well, hello everybody. This is Mark Godwin from FYSA. We're just going to give it a few seconds to see if there's any late arrivals coming in, and we'll get underway shortly.
Also, everyone that's attending, just to let you know, we are actually recording this for YouTube, so it will be posted shortly after the formal ending of this program, so just to let you know. Also, there's no way to share your webcam during this actual webinar, so if you have any questions, please use your phone or microphone. And also, there is a feature within the chat box listed on the right for you to raise your hand and ask questions, and we will be happy to answer anything during the course of the program. Thank you.
Thanks, Jared. We're going to get underway then. So hopefully everybody can see my screen, and if I can get my screen to work, which it's decided, there it goes. So I'd like to welcome everybody to the FYSA Bucks Program presentation tonight. As Jared mentioned, we are recording this, and I think these days this is the new normal going forward. Webinars, as this is my fourth one today, so hopefully I'm going to keep you intrigued and engaged to this presentation. So here we go. As I say, the formal handshake before a game, this is what we're doing right now. So hopefully you're going to enjoy this. I'm joined today by a great team behind the scenes. Part of our team is our Executive Director, Joel Dragan. The person who also set this up for tonight, Jared White, our Communications Director, and Jonathan Spradley, our Coordinator of Events. They're going to be working behind the scene, checking the chat room, and if any questions come about, they're going to inform us and keep us up to date and deliver us in the right direction, hopefully. So we also have the heart and soul of our FYSA Bucks program, and that's Jennifer Murphy. She's the go-to person when it comes to FYSA Bucks, and certainly has steered that ship in a newer direction, a new straight ship, a straight sailing, if we want to put it that way, towards the new frontier. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Mark Godwin. I'm the Assistant Director of Coaching for the grassroots side of things, recreational soccer, and the Bucks program really comes under my auspices, and you know, I think it's one of the, or was one of the first things that really interested me when I joined FYSA 2 years ago. I've worked for a couple of state associations in the past, a smaller one in Louisiana, a similar size one up in Virginia, and I'd never come across a program or a state association that gave back to its memberships in helping them grow their own programs by delivering coaching goods and numerous other things such as education to their membership. So it was a wonderful thing to come into. So a lot of people ask me, what is the Bucks program? So at the end of the day, the Bucks program, it's a passback program. It's a way that we give back to our memberships to help you grow. And we all know that these days it's a struggle to get volunteer coaches or volunteers from that parent group to step up to the plate and coach our young players. And when we do finally get them, usually we throw them in at the deep end and ask them to swim. The great thing about the Bucks program is we try to give them every resource possible that they can have to succeed. So I think it's amazing. It's specifically geared towards the recreational side of things, which at the end of the day is the actual foundation for all soccer at the youth level in our country. If we don't have a solid base, we are going to struggle to grow. And it's kind of a unique situation here in Florida. We had consistently over the last few years over 50,000 registered recreational players, and I want to see that grow. And I think it will only grow if we give those resources to our coaches, because that's the direct input we have to these young players. Therefore, it is an investment into the future. There's no doubt about it. So, you know, I hope this is going to be great for our clubs, and it's one thing that I want to continue over the next few years as well. So what is FYSA Bucks and how does it work? Simply put, the Bucks program is Florida Youth Soccer Association. It's also the club. Well, it's not just one club. It's a lot of clubs. It's you at the end of the day. Both of us working together, and the end product is the Bucks program. Well, that's the best picture I could find, but really the Bucks to us means dollars and the ability to be able to spend to grow our programs. So why did we do this? It starts with our FYSA mission. If you haven't seen it, this was one thing that the staff and board of directors worked on over the last 18 months. And our mission reads, we lead, innovate, and inspire a lifelong passion for soccer. And that is so true. When we look at the Bucks program, you know, we lead together, we work together. It's innovative. And if we don't give the resources to our coaches, they won't be able to do that. And the end product is for our coaches to go out there and inspire that lifelong passion for soccer. It's something that we have, we hope our coaches will have as well, and then we want it to pass on to our players. And that's important. It's about giving back to our memberships to help our players, our clubs, our leagues, and ultimately at the end of the day, our state grow. And, you know, we've all heard the term soccer is the great game. It truly is, but we've got to continue that growth. And the direct input that coaches have is what we need to make sure that our players spread that word, go out to more, and grow our programs at the grassroots level. So really, it's all about the players, putting the players first. Isn't that all, you know, what we all want to do? And that's the bottom line, really. I'm going to move on to what the actual program does and how it works now. And at the end of each slide, I'm going to introduce Jennifer, and she's going to share a few words as to how we go about putting this program together. So when we start it off, your club starts with registering players at the start of the season. You know, with the recreational side, that's going to start to come about in the next few weeks. Hopefully some of you have already got your recreational registration underway. The bottom line is, as you start to collect those, they now start to be forming teams at your club, and those registrations come into FYSA. When it comes to us, it's a small fee that comes into FYSA on the recreational side, and that fee goes towards US soccer registration, US youth soccer registration, insurance, registration software, and so much more. And the Bucks is part of that. The final numbers, and again, this is based on last year, they will come out to you, and for each player that has been registered with FYSA, the club will receive $2. And that's amazing. That's truly a product that you can utilize, or an amount that you can utilize to help purchase equipment for your clubs. At that point, we open the Bucks store. The Bucks store is only going to be open for a limited period of time, but the clubs will go on and purchase equipment through the store. And we call it shopping. That's what we love to do. Certainly, if I go into a sports store these days, my wife is begging me to come out. So when we see that equipment as coaches, we love to purchase some of it. Jennifer, have you got anything to add to this?
Basically, I guess we can go through the steps that'll happen to follow up from what you had laid out. Sometime in September, a letter will be sent out to all the clubs via email, in which you'll receive a PIN. The PIN number will be your access into our ordering system and registration of the Bucks program. The important things to understand in the Bucks program is that you have a limited window to get your orders in, and you also need to put in one order, not small orders over the period of time. You want to make sure that you coordinate your orders with one person who will be your contact person for the Bucks program, and get those orders in by December 31st, which will be the deadline.
Thank you, Jennifer. So some of the important things to know. What's going to happen is you'll get a voucher. It's a code that you can go in and invest in the recreational coaches and players.
Mhm.
The voucher can be redeemed for goods and services. It's not just about the equipment, but we also provide coaching education and numerous other things through the voucher program. It's not intended to cover any major expenses. You know, there really isn't the sort of money that you can go out there and build a brand new soccer field or add lights to your soccer field. But it really is geared towards helping your volunteer coaches grow your programs for the future. This is important. Obviously, the club needs to be in good standing with FYSA in order to receive that. And it's not an application process. You'll be notified by FYSA as to how many players were registered for the previous season and, of course, how many bucks you have. So you don't need to send in an application. What are the vouchers worth? Well, as I mentioned earlier, it starts with the previous seasonal year. It goes on your recreational players, and what will happen is FYSA will total up those numbers, and included with the dollar amount, we'll send that out to you. As an example, if a club has 500 recreational players, you'll be allotted 1,000 FYSA bucks. That can go a long way to purchasing soccer equipment and obviously coaching education as well. It's a huge bonus. The clubs win. You can't get anything better than this. And of course, as coaches, we all love the stuff, don't we? We love the gear that comes through. It's just an incredible deal. Jennifer, have you got anything to add?
Nope, I think you've about covered it.
So the question always gets asked is, what stuff can I get? So it's kind of interesting. We've sort of evolved over the last few years and added more gear to the actual store itself. So you'll be able to find cones, a must for every coach. Disc cones. I can never have enough of these. There's no doubt about it. Sometimes when you see coaching sessions going on out there, you're frightened just in case there's going to be a helicopter or an aircraft land on your field because there's so many of these out there. But they certainly identify an area. Pennies. They're definitely a great way to identify players. And again, some of our volunteer coaches don't have this equipment. And when they go out there, you'll see players playing games and pass to a player on the opposition. It's because they don't know what team they're on. So these are vital to identify which teams have been separated into. Soccer balls. Probably the most important thing about the game of soccer. We do need them. Corner flags and certainly coaching sticks as well. Without corner flags, referees wouldn't know where the field was. And that's my little joke of the day. But there's also so much more. We have a special package for referee gear. We also added first aid kits a couple of years ago. We always need field marking paint, goalkeeping gloves. I mentioned coaching education. This is vital to any club's development. You know, it's interesting that we get so many coaches come in here who never had the experience of playing soccer as a child. So it's important for us to give them the right education to help their players develop. And that's important as well. And beyond US Soccer's coaching education, Florida Youth Soccer have several other different programs that we're working on for the future. Recreational coaching clinics. We can come out there and provide clinics at your facility for your coaches. Recreational festivals, a great way to interact and get parents, coaches, and players working together. The new introduction to soccer clinics. We're going to be doing another presentation on these in a couple of nights, and I think this is a great asset to any club. We've designed a program in which we can actually share the entire curriculum with a club, or we can come out and conduct the actual introduction to soccer clinics for you from FYSA. And there's also FYSA webinars that we can put on at any time specifically for you and geared towards whatever topic you want to have. And those will all be available through us and utilizing the FYSA Bucks. But I stress coaching education. I think it's important. I always see a lot of clubs purchasing the gear, the stuff in our store, but sometimes they don't always purchase the coaching education piece. I will say this, a couple of years ago, one of our clubs purchased a whole lot. They used their entire bucks on online coaching courses from US Soccer, and they've said so many good things about that. What is the coaching education all about from US Soccer? Well, here's a short video to show you what US Soccer provides within their grassroots education program.
When it comes down to it, your coaching goals are players' abilities and making sure they have a great time playing soccer. Because whether they end up here, or here, or here, it all starts here at the grassroots level. And it all starts with the coach.
I think the grassroots coach is the coolest coach that we have in the country.
I love the grassroots player. I think it's a great challenge and it's a lot of fun.
We're all part of this game, and it's a bigger picture than us, and you know, we just get to ride the wave and enjoy it, and we have to enjoy every minute of it.
Thank you for participating in US Soccer's Introduction to Coaching Grassroots Soccer. Remember, this introduction is just the beginning, and we're here for you every step of the way. Training session plans, age-specific training, and developmental opportunities await you in our grassroots licensing courses.
So, with that being said, online coaching education and the Introduction to Coaching Education course, that's available for free at US Soccer's Learning Center. It's a great introduction and gives you a few tips on how to go out there and coach at the recreational level. It's a good starting point for any recreational volunteer coach, but there's so much more beyond that. The online coaching education platform, you can take a 4v4, a 7v7, a 9v9, or 11v11 coaching course online for just $25. And that can be actually completely subsidized through the Bucks program if that's the way you want to go. But if you want to go about getting all this stuff, you've got to start with your Bucks program. It comes to you or goes out to the clubs, to the agent of record, who will receive the FYSA communication letting you know your final recreational soccer numbers, as well as how many bucks you have to spend. I put in here what Jennifer emphasized earlier, you need the PIN. And again, this isn't to be shared with everybody. We want one order coming in from the club so we know that it's going towards the recreational program. You shouldn't be sharing this with all your coaches. It's got to come as one big order. Once you have all the above information, then you can begin to shop. And as I mentioned, it's one order. So what's next? We want your feedback. I think that's how we're going to grow. We don't have everything that a recreational club needs in our store. And if we don't have feedback from all our clubs, we won't be able to improve it and add to it. So I think that's important. We're working together with you to make sure we give you the best possible opportunities to grow. We want more items in the store. Again, growth is important, and I want to make sure that we have enough to get you up and running as well. If you're a new club, this is one of the best benefits of joining FYSA. The possibilities are endless. So let's see what we can do together. So now let's talk about the future of the Bucks program. We're looking into creating a new platform. We've utilized the same platform for many years now. And from the feedback that we've got, it just isn't good enough. So we're looking to change that and make something a little bit more modern, something that's better and easier to shop on, that offers more, that's easier to surf through, fully integrated into our own website. So there's only one place you need to go. Again, these are some of the challenges. We brought this to you last year. We haven't found the right program that's going to work right now, but we're gearing towards getting that done. That's important going forward. Current and obviously new items, as we spoke about just now. We want your feedback to help it grow. It's going to be a fresh look for the future. So stay tuned to the Bucks program because change is coming. The FYSA Bucks at the end of the day is a recreational grant program. I can't stress enough how important this is for our members to get going, to move on. I look back at when I was a club coaching director, I would have just cried over this program if we had it in Louisiana. You know, at the end of the day, we spend a fortune trying to get our program supplied with the best possible equipment. We utilize and we go out there and shop. FYSA utilizes our bargain power, which again, we're dealing with over 100,000 players on an annual basis. I think that bargaining helps you get the lowest price possible. So that way, when you go to shop, you get more for your money. Again, I think this is so important going forward. I can't stress enough how important this was for me in my decision to come to FYSA. The Bucks program is probably the best one in the country right now. I don't think there's another program or another state association that has a program quite like the FYSA Bucks. So if you want more information about FYSA Bucks, the people to go to are obviously Jennifer Murphy here at the FYSA office. There is her email, her phone number and extension. Myself, you can always come to me. I'd like to thank everybody for attending this tonight. I'd like to also throw it to Jennifer again to see if she has anything she needs to add.
No, I think we about covered it. I'm looking forward to the new platform and seeing what we can do to grow this program.
So right now, I want to make sure that we cover everything and we are candidate friendly. If you have any questions, please input it into the chat feature that we have, and we'll be glad to answer them here and now.
Mark, Jennifer, or sorry, Jonathan, I think you were about to do the same thing. Somebody did write a question in there and said, why not FYSA logos on the equipment? Branding is very important, that everyone recognizes where the stuff came from. That came from Lou.
Again, I think if we add branding to it, it raises the price, which we don't want to do. We want to give you equipment at affordable prices. Again, once we put a logo on it, I know people like that, but we don't want to raise the price of the product that you're purchasing. Again, I mean, it's our equipment, but at the end of the day, it's your money. So it belongs to your club. So if you wanted to add something to it, you know, later on, then that's down to you. Do you think that would cover that, Joel?
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. Obviously, cost becomes an issue on that. I'm not necessarily opposed to the idea, because I do agree with Lou that branding is very important. How about we say this? It's something we'll look into depending on what the cost increase is. There might be a decision that has to be made there, but as anybody know who's gotten jerseys printed or anything printed, the costs can be pretty high. There were two things that I wanted to mention, if you guys don't mind, and thank you, Mark, so much for doing this. This was very well put together, well said. And I would echo one statement that you made. When I was looking at applying for FYSA and eventually accepting this role, one of the things that really did stand out to me was the FYSA Bucks program. This is a truly unique program. I'm with you. I don't know of anywhere else that's offering it. And in that same vein, I would encourage everybody on this phone call who registers any rec players, make sure that you are utilizing these dollars. I will say, I won't put hard numbers to it, but we didn't utilize all the money that we had set aside to the Bucks program. If you look at $2 per rec player, we didn't spend $2 per rec player that we had. It was close, but make sure that you are using every dollar that you have. FYSA makes a big investment to this, and we want to make sure that every club gets their money's worth. So those were the only two things that I wanted to mention.
Thanks, Joel. Are there any more chats? Any more questions in there?
That was like it.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you guys for all being a part of this. We've got another one starting in about an hour for those of you who aren't registered yet. It is Top Soccer. David Robinson will be running that. Very excited about that one. It's still not too late to register. Thank you guys for the time. Email Mark, Jennifer about the Bucks program. And again, use those dollars that are allocated to you.
Thanks, Joel. Thanks, Jennifer.
Thanks,
Good night,
guys.
everybody.
Good
Let's
night.
not forget Jonathan and Jared behind the scenes.
Thanks, Mark.